Hi everyone, here we are. Pattern-collections.com is where we're going to find the CPT journey number 4. So, when you're at the website, this is the website, you're going to go down to write-ups. Inside write-ups, we're going to go to the beginner guide. Inside the beginner guide, we're going to go to creative pattern tangling journey. And on this journey, we are now here on part 4. And we're going to talk about replacing shapes in existing patterns is just one of many CPT techniques. After your brain has made these new connections, you don't really ever need to look at a pattern step out again if you don't want to. You can. You can absolutely use patterns as a jumping off spot, but you can also create your own. And she wants us to start creating our own pattern, which is, first we're going to define the word pattern. A pattern is a series or sequence that repeats. That's all it is. So tangle patterns consist of shapes that are arranged to form a pattern. So here's the rice shape going in a vertical manner, repeated to make a pattern. Here it is going horizontally to make a pattern. Here it is with a large one and a small one to make a pattern. Here it is with a large one and then a round to make a pattern. Okay, here we have that same rice shape made going 2 horizontally, 2 vertically to make like a flower-like shape. If you put 4 of them together, you get this. Here's some hearts in a row. Here's some hearts together with the points all at the middle. So those are just simple patterns, simple ways to take a shape and create a pattern. Okay? Now it's our turn to get creative. Pick 2 of your favorite shapes and then rotate, resize, flip, and repeat until you find a pattern that you like. So we can do that. And then there's applying techniques to create patterns. And some of the techniques we've already learned is feathering and aura. There's also folding. We've also learned that. So she takes a circle and adds folding to it. Either a single fold or a double fold, or using the paradox technique, which we will get into. So auras, feathering, filling, all sorts of different techniques. Here she's talking about, I'm going through this pretty fast. You can read through it yourself. Starting with a loop. She's going to play with loops and auras. So here she's made a loop and then she's put an aura around it, and then she's connected those two together to create this interesting kind of almost looks like some type of knot. Okay, here she's decided to take the loop, put an aura around it, and then put another aura around it, and then another one. So she has ended up like this, kind of like that. Then she decided that she was playing in her journal, and she took them and made loops and auras that are different shaped. See, some of these auras are more feathery shaped or bracket-like shapes, leaf shapes, if you will. And then she decided to add wrapping and weaving and disappear. So here she's got some things going over and under and through. So she's just taken the one idea of loops and auras and just done a variety of different things in order to play and create her own pattern. So that's what we're going to do. And since we are continuing with the mandala week, I'm going to go ahead and create a mandala template for us, just like I did before. I can use my compass and my ruler, or I can use my Helix Circle Maker. Both of those work. On Mondays, I showed you how I use the compass and the ruler. Today, I think I will use the ruler, but I will also use the Circle Maker. Let me find the middle of this. Now, this one, when I did the one on Monday, I forgot that my paper wasn't square, it was rectangular. And so when I did my middle, I did find the middle, but I forgot that my lines here in my intersection were not a right angle. Today they're a right angle. Can you see? I don't know if you can see through my page, but they are actually at a right angle today because this is a square piece of paper. The other day, because it was a rectangle, these came at more of an X shape rather than an exact right angle. They were a little more off, which was fine. I had forgotten that that's what it was. So now I'm going to take my Circle Maker. I'm going to put it at 0. I'm going to put the middle in the middle of my page. I'm going to put the 0 going up that line. Just like so. And then I'm going to decide how many sections I want. I might not want 4 or 8. Maybe I want 5, which is an odd number, right? And so I'm going to take my phone, I'm going to get my calculator out, and I'm going to do 360 divided by 5 is 72. So every 72 degrees, I'm going to need a mark. And I want to make a circle. So I'm going to go ahead and make my circle. Let's do it this size, whatever that is. And I'm going to do a smaller one about here. That just spins around and it makes circles. And if you want other size circles, you can use this. But then I want every 72. So at 72, line that up with the 72. I'm going to make that mark. Oh, I didn't make the nice dark mark here at my 0. I probably should do that. Remind myself. Okay, so then I want another 72, which makes me at 144. So I'm going to turn this around until I'm at 144. There's 145. So the one less than that is 144. Make myself a mark. And then the next one plus 72 makes it 216. 210, 215, 216, right in there. And then plus 72 again is 288. So there's 280, 285, 6, 7, 8 right there. Generally. Doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, but now I have, I can get rid of these ones. But now I have my my circle divided into 5 sections. Excuse me. And now I'm going to play with, like she said, let's play with shapes. And she said to take, what'd she say? She said take 2 shapes, right? And then what she said? Oops. Yes. She said, now it's your turn. Get creative. Pick your 2 favorite shapes. Rotate, resize, flip, repeat, and then add a technique. So using my shape page, which we went over back in one of the other lessons, I'm going to decide what kind of shape do I like. I prefer sort of a more organic shape. I have a harder time with straight lines than I do with curves. I just love curves. It's just my jam. So I think I'm going to pick like either a loop or a teardroppy type shape. And then maybe also spirals. Let's combine teardrops and spirals into this mandala shape. So now I'm just going to grab my pen and just go for it. I'm going to put teardrops and spirals and decide how I want to do them. I'm going to put a teardrop right in the middle like that. Okay, so there's a teardrop shape. I'm going to feather that shape. Let's use feathering. Two, just 1 and 2. Very simple feathering technique. These are all techniques we've already used, but see, look how pretty that is already, and all I've done is a teardrop with some feathering. And then let's think about a spiral. So let's do a spiral in here, starting here and coming around. Like that. This one was not quite as round as I would have liked, but that's okay. Okay, so now we have that one. And then let's do another teardrop going this way. Okay. Okay, now we've got that. Look how pretty that is. All I'm doing is saying, well, what should I do next? What should I do next? I want to play with spirals and I want to play with teardrops. No. going to do that. We're going to do spirals in here, coming this way. So now I've got more spirals in my pattern. See, you'll find that you don't have to have step outs, and then you can just draw whenever you feel like drawing. Once you have some of these basic shapes under your belt, you just start drawing. Okay, I'm going to do an aura here because I feel like it needs to be a little bit smaller in the center. So I'm just going to put an aura inside that teardrop shape. Remember, aura just means to go around mimicking the previous line, either inside or outside. And do I want to do anything else? I don't think I do. I'm really liking how this turned out. I could aura the whole thing. Maybe I'll do that. Let me erase so I don't have these guidelines influencing me. Sometimes I want the guidelines to influence me. Sometimes I want them to be gone. Just erase these real quick. I do feel like I want a little bit more dark to this, and I do feel like I want to aura. So I'm going to just find a spot here to start, and I'm just going to aura the whole shape on the outside. Just gently. The wind is really picking up. It's a blustery day today. Okay, so now I've auraed the whole thing. Oh, I like how that looks. Now I think I want some really dark spots in this. I'm going to sign it. I think I want it here. And I'm just going to do just teardrop and spiral. That's all it is just teardrops and spirals. And then I'm going to fill in some black. And I'm going to go ahead and use my brush pen. And I'm going to fill in inside here to start and see where else I want black. I think I needed to clean my glasses today. I'm pretty sure I didn't do that. And there are some spots where I'm trying to look that are a little blurry. Oh well. So see, all you have to do is take, like to do a mandala, basically all you need is a circular shape. And then all you need to do is take any shape, any of those shapes, those basic shapes. Take one or two or three basic shapes and just go for it, really. Do I want to do on the outside? Let's do the outside. Sometimes I really want a super bold, contrasty thing. Now if you don't have a brush pen, you could just use your regular fine liner and just color this in. It's just a little bit easier for me with the brush pen because it makes a bigger line, that's all. If you don't have one, it's no big deal. Don't rush out and buy a brush pen just because I happen to have one. Use what you have. Please don't feel like if you don't have the right supplies that you can't do this, because you can. You can totally do this with just a ballpoint pen. Absolutely, 100%. It just might take a little longer to color using a ballpoint pen, but you could totally do it. A little gel pen, you got one of those from the dollar store? Absolutely. I am waiting. I have a pen coming that I'm really excited about. I don't know if you guys follow Jazza on YouTube, but he done another merchandise launch. Remember when I bought the Jazza's Jazzy Art box, which I was very excited about, and I've used quite a bit of stuff from there. As a matter of fact, my Marabou fine liners that I've been using, where'd they all go? A lot of them I used up. Those Marabou ones. That's not that. Is that one? Nope. I've used most of them up. I ended up throwing them away because I've used all the ink. They were very good. But those were in the Jazz's Jazzy Art box. But there's a new one coming. He had a giant 3-box set of various things. One was ink, one was sculpture, and one was miniatures. I don't really do much in the way of sculpture or miniatures, so I did not purchase those boxes. Besides that, I didn't have that much money. I didn't have the funds to buy all 3 boxes, but I did buy the $99 inky box, and in that box will be a variety of different inks. It's meant for calligraphy, but it doesn't have to be used for calligraphy. 100% I am going to use it for drawing patterns, but I am so looking forward to it because inside that box is a dip pen. I have wanted to try a dip pen for the longest time, and this looks like it's going to be an absolutely gorgeous one. And then my mom just gave me an antique brass inkwell that used to be my grandpa's. And I'm very much looking forward to putting some ink in that and using that inkwell for my new dip pen. I think that will be fun to use my grandpa's inkwell. Matter of fact, it might even have been my great-grandpa's inkwell, because I don't recall my grandpa using dip pen. it might have been his father's, and that he just had it sitting on his desk because it belonged to his dad. I mean, I remember it sitting on his desk, but I don't recall him ever using it. But then again, I was very young when back then, and so, you know, I could have just not paid any attention, and he might have been using it. I don't know. Well, look at that. Isn't that pretty? Very, very pretty. I think I want to put dark in there too. I don't know. I don't know. Let's just shade it and see what happens. So I'm going to shade right here. This is where I like to shade when I do feathering. I like to shade right there at the tip, and then just bring down the graphite with my blending stump. I know by the time you guys see this, from the time I'm recording it, it will be long past, but if you are the praying type, would you please pray for my friend? First name begins with a C. I'm not going to shout her out, just because it's her privacy. However, she fell and broke 3 ribs and is having a very tough time and is now in a rehabilitation center because right now she can't take care of herself. She's having some struggles with that, so she is doing some physical therapy to get herself strong enough to be able to go home and take care of herself. So if you would give her a little prayer, I would appreciate it if you were the praying type. If you're not, well then just skip on over this portion of the day. Of course, by the time you see this, hopefully she will have recovered and be home, but you know, perhaps the day this comes out, she's having a tough day and she needs some prayers anyways. I don't know. All I know is right now I'm really thinking of her, so I thought I would mention it. Yeah, just bring some of that graphite down toward the middle. Can you guys even see really what I'm doing? I think you can. There we go. That's good. Then here, I feel like those ones need some sort of thing too. This swirl needs something. Maybe in here, like that. like that. Okay, that looks good. That looks good. And then some highlights, because you know, on colored paper I've got to have the highlights, and it's really weird on the camera. It's really not showing the dark pink the right color. That's interesting. This is a much brighter pink paper than what you're seeing. Yeah, that's weird. Usually my camera is better with color than this. I wonder why it's doing that. I don't know. Alrighty, good enough. Let me zoom out. Okay, so that is what I made for lesson number 4 of CPT, which is creating a pattern, picking a basic shape or two, and then adding a technique. Well, I added some auras and some feathering to teardrops and spirals. It just came from no particular pattern that I know of, and I could create step outs for this. I could create a step out to make the 5 arms, right? And do a teardrop with some feathering, and do a spiral, and do another teardrop. That was the basics. So we could do it in 1, 2, 3, 4 steps, right? Teardrop, feathering, teardrops, spirals, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 basic steps, and then embellishment on top of that. So absolutely it could be a pattern that we could put on Pattern Dash Collections, although right now patterns are kind of being on hold until Ina is feeling better. So so if you decide to create yourself a pattern and you want to share over at Pattern Dash Collections on Facebook, feel free to do so. And we will see you on the next video. Practice. Take your basic shapes. Take anything from the basic shape page. You don't have to make a mandala. I just chose to do so. But, you know, take any of these shapes and put them in lines, put them on top of each other, put them side by side, mix and match, put S shapes with straight lines, whatever you want to do. Create your own pattern by just mixing and matching and then repeating. And there you go. A pattern is born. So I will see you guys on the next video. You guys have a great day. Practice, practice, practice. And if you haven't practiced all those other things, the main thing to me, the biggest thing to practice is your shapes and just learning how to manipulate your pen in a smooth manner. Learn how your muscles are working. Get that muscle memory. Just practice making circles. Practice making teardrops. Practice making straight lines. Practice making brackets and S shapes. That's almost more important than making the pattern itself, because the more you draw, the better your line work becomes. I will see you guys on the next video. You guys have a blessed day, and I will be back. Bye-bye.